run our communities, Lord Father God. We're thankful that your hand is on our community, and we continue to ask you to be our guide and give you praise and glory for everyone here, and bless all of our city employees, all of our department heads. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. If you'll face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As far as the mayor's comments, first of all, we had a proclamation yesterday about Sarah Webster and the Dixon Williams mansion and all of the work that she's done over the past 39 years of getting this building completed or up to the level that it is, all the time she spent. I think she was on the board for 39 years and has been the chairman for the last 30 years. So she spent a lot of her time and free time working and getting that building completed. I think she and her Mr. Dowdy raised $760,000 to start that renovation program back in 1986. So, gosh, that would be $3 million now, I guess, to get it to that same level. So it's a beautiful place down there and something we need to be proud of. We also had some information from the Tennessee Department of Revenue about some of the tourism monies that we were able to collect over the last year, and it helped all of us that live in Greenville and Greene County about $350 in tax revenues that would be required to bring that money up to that level. So I want to thank the partnership and everyone that works on the tourism groups. We got folks that are going to be talking about some things we're going to try to do downtown to bring more people into town. Tourism is a great way to raise monies because they come in and they spend money and then they leave, and we can spend it for us instead of them. So anyway, thanks to everyone that participates in that. I also want to welcome a couple of people from Towering Oaks Christian School. So I would like for you guys to come up and just introduce yourselves and tell us why you're here. And also your teacher needs to come up for a second also. He didn't want to. He said he's going to make them talk.
I'm Jaden Overholt, and I'm just here to learn more about government and see the ways it works.
Okay, thanks.
I'm Joey Nanny, and I'm here because my parents signed the permission slip.
And he's the comedian.
Okay. All right, well, it looks like he's going to have a great time for the next hour or so. Can you talk a little bit about how many kids you got? And
I'm just going to, I need to come up there. I'll just talk about this. My name's John Camus. I'm a U.S. government teacher at Towering Oaks Christian School. I've got 6 students. Well, one of them had to go to work, 2 of them were sick, and the other had a volleyball game. So I ended up with these 2. And they wish they had someplace they could go. Unfortunately. But no, we've come today so that hopefully they will get more involved in government, okay? And they'll see what's going on. As I got older, I got more involved in government, but I live in Washington County, so I'm here visiting. Yeah.
all right, well, thanks for coming. I hope you enjoy the meeting because it is always so exciting. As far as public comments go, there are 2. $8.7? Okay. All right, well, we'll save you those times when we're getting ready to talk and ask you to come up. I also would like to add one item to our agenda. and that's information about the severance package. Can I hear a motion to add that to our discussion?
So moved.
Is there a second? We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Can we do that?
What type of discussion you going to have? Nothing to vote on, correct?
Well, correct. It's just, it's what the, okay. So is that everyone?
Yeah.
Okay, I couldn't hear. Thank
I would have
you.
yelled no if
Huh?
I would have said no.
Okay. All right, we'll put that on as a, item 8.12. All right, as unfinished business goes, 7.1 is consideration to approve the minutes from the regularly scheduled meeting held on August 19th, 2025. We had those sent out last week. Is there any additions or changes?
Laura, do I need to publicly address the changes or corrections here, or was my email sufficient, or?
Your email was sufficient, yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, do I hear a motion to approve?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against, like sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Item 8.1 is insurance update from the Baldwin Group, previously known as Trinity Benefit Advisors. And Mr. Chris will be speaking.
Good afternoon. How are y'all?
Good.
I've met most of you folks. My name's Chris Pointer. I have had the privilege of working with y'all for a number of years on the health insurance plans and the clinic and all the things that sort of affect your membership and your employees. Want to spend a little bit of time today just going through some high-level performance results of what's going on. I know y'all are going into, so you kind of like to know what's going on and what you need to plan for. And I've got some details I think that will be helpful in doing that and shed a little light on. But the thing is, I was telling Cal earlier, it's a good news story. A lot of times when I do health insurance updates, it's, how much more is it going to cost and, all those different kind of things. But this is kind of a good news story. So I'm going to go through this, and if you'll, as I get to things that you have questions on or you'd like me to clarify or expand on, please let me know, and I'll do that, okay? One of the things I just want to hit on at first when you look at this, national medical trend, when you're looking at this and as a board, you all have to make decisions on, what do we need to budget? What's it look like? Do we need to make changes for our employees and all that? Kind of what everybody's been faced with is roughly 7.5 to 8% trend, meaning if you do nothing, it goes up 7.5 or 8% a year just because of trend and cost, okay? And there's some things going on right now in contracts that we see it's going to be at least that. I think I'm going to show you some things for you all that you're in a little bit better shape than that. But we think it's going to be a little more than that. You've got some contract through COVID, these hospitals through COVID got in situations where, you had a lot of travel nurses, you had a lot of costs, they got themselves some financial situations where as they come out and they redo contracts, we're going to see some things happen. We shared with Kathy, and the folks that work with you all here, Summit Healthcare just went through that with Blue Cross. Summit Healthcare is our largest in this corridor, and then once you hit north of here, you end up with State of Franklin and HMG. But those are our largest primary care physician groups. Summit actually, that was all over the paper. They were going to be pulling out. There's an agreement that's been reached, but when they reach an agreement, there's some form of cost that goes along with that. Because don't forget, you all are self-insured. You're self-insured. If you ask any employee here who's your insurance with, they're going to say, well, it's with Blue Cross. And it is. You have Blue Cross as an administrator. We use their network and some of their other benefits. But at the end of the day, the way we've structured this with the town, you all hire Blue Cross to pay these claims for you. You use their networks just like anybody else. We have we have a pharmacy plan that goes through them, but we have it set up differently for you all too. And then you all buy reinsurance so that if you have any large claims, those are not as large a hits. But at the end of the day, you all are self-insured, and this is kind of what's going on. Here's the good news, though. This is your all's trend since COVID, okay, since 2020-21. And when you look at it on the right, if you look at national trend, it's that kind of maroon line at the top. That's kind of where you were. You all were at about that $1,100 a per employee per month number. And we kind of keep this on track for y'all based on per employee per month because you know, your membership goes up and down over time when y'all hire people or grow or whatever you do. But when you look at it going up, but look at you, y'all are the blue line. Actually, you all are doing a lot better than that. You know, we've been in single digits pretty much all the years. We're actually down 20% right now. Now, you know, knock on wood, I don't want y'all to plan for that. I don't want you to think, hey, let's spend that money somewhere else. That's probably not prudent to do, but it's a good news story. You're down 20%. And I've got a couple reasons why I can talk to you about in a minute why I think that is, okay? So all good news there. When you look at your all, again, since those COVID years, since 20, your all's average trend is 1%. And we've been able to do that with very little, really small changes at an employee level. Your employees have really not had to go through a lot of the changes that a lot of people in the private sector have. You know, a lot of our private sector discussions, when these big rate increases come, you know, what do they do sometimes? They put it on the backs of employees. And you all have really not done that at all. As a matter of fact, in the middle of all this, you all also added the clinic in the middle of all these years. So the clinic came aboard, which is another great benefit for those employees that came aboard kind of during, you know, these years. So you all, if anything, overall have increased benefits from employees. So it's all good. So look, what are the things we do? This is where it gets, this is a lot for this meeting probably, but I thought we should throw it up here. We track this every month. Blue Cross, your administrator, but we kind of do the tracking. If they stood up, you know, it's really hard to get the details out of those really big, deep reports they send, but we track this, and this is how we track it. When you all look at this, we track the number of people on the different tiers of coverage. You all have people that either buy on themselves or they're buying their spouse or children or families. We track medical and pharmacy separate for a reason. Okay, pharmacy, when I showed you all that national trend is about 7.5%, 8%, pharmacy trend, by the way, is double digits. It's way in the double digits. Okay, you all are down. Okay, you all are down over the years, probably 25% on pharmacy, which is kind of unheard of. But anyway, you all are actually down. But the other thing too is we buy stop loss insurance, we buy reinsurance. You all in that fiscal year got $165,000 back there. I actually delivered a check back here to Kathy when I got here today. We actually put you all in a special pool we have where in good years you all can get refund checks from stop loss. Stop loss is usually something where you either use it or you don't. And you pay a pretty big premium for that. And so we actually just handed her a check back. And y'all have gotten checks over the last several years there. And in pharmacy rebates, you all get rebate. So your pharmacy spend, when you look at that, your claims were $982,000, but you got $505,000 back in pharmacy rebates. Okay? So that is up almost $200,000 over the year before. So we actually did some contract renegotiation a couple years ago, and so those have increased. Y'all are up a couple $100,000 there. So we've got some things going in your direction that again, they're behind the scenes, and your employees wouldn't, you know, they still have their Blue Cross card. Everything's the same to them. But, you know, you kind of got to, behind the scenes, when you're self-insured, you got to work all the levers to keep things in check. And so those have gone in your directions. Again, you see the year before, that pharmacy rebate thing was $332. That number on the page I just showed you before was $505. So that money comes back to the plan, by the way. So those rebates, that money comes back to the plan. Your employees are still paying the amount they should be paying. Right? This is kind of a dashboard. I know this thing's loud up here on the screen. I gave you all copies, you know, if you want to look back at it. This just sort of shows you, it's kind of a red and green, like red light, green light kind of dashboard, meaning everything in green is where you all are positive. You all are ahead versus the benchmark and versus your own result. So ahead of Blue Cross's benchmark and ahead of your own results too. So in green, everything across to you're up. The only thing you're actually red on is inpatient members, but I mean that's probably a couple people driving that, literally, a couple people different driving that thing. And then physician's office, your office visits are actually down, but the paid claims per member per month are up a little bit. And again, I was just telling you some of those contract renegotiations have been going on. That doesn't surprise me. But it all comes out in the wash and your numbers are down. So that's good. So at the end of the day, you'll see most spots across this kind of gambit of all the different things that happen inside your plan, y'all are performing really well. Large claims, so Cal said, he asked me, I mean, simple, smart question. He goes, why are we down 20%? You know? And normally, when I look at it, I look at large claims, and usually, at your size, you all are about a $3 million plan. You can have one or two people really change things for you, you know, on really large claims. And when I look at it, your all's claims as a percentage of everything else, large claims over 25,000, it's about the same. Look at this. I mean, 22 is 51%, 48%, 52%. So y'all are really, that's not what it is. When I look at that 20% and I come up with it, when you go back here to these numbers, if you'll think about pharmacy rebates are up 180,000, and we had stop-loss reimbursements of 164 that we didn't have the year before, okay? That's over 400,000. That's, you know, it's close to what is it, 160, 180. So, you know, you got 300, pushing $400,000 of tailwinds that you all got back, that we are to get you back. That's part of that change. That's probably half of that change right there, is because we were able to get some reimbursements and rebates back. But it's running really well. Drugs, the number one thing that we look at today when we do this, and maybe next year when I'm standing in front of y'all, we will be talking about it. Knock on wood, good news is we're not right now. But when we look at most people's large claims and we look at what's going on, it's heavily drug influence. There's lots and lots of drugs out there that we have on people's sheets that are $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, and they're out there everywhere. And the thing about it is, if somebody has an acute something go on and they end up in the emergency room, or they have a preemie baby or something, those are big claims, but they correct themselves over time, right? The people recover, or they correct themselves, or the child gets out of the hospital or whatever. Those drug claims stay on your plan for a long time, you know. But right now, that's not the case. If you'll look down here, we've got this journey, the top claim, which is a kidney disease claim for $128,000. But after that, you'll see some stuff come up. I actually reran this. It's not up here because I wanted to see what's happened since April. We agreed with Blue Cross, or negotiated with them at the first of the year this year, to take Humira off formulary and go to biosimilars. Think of it's not the same thing, but think of biosimilars as like a generic for specialty drugs. So like high-end specialty drugs now have biosimilars, okay? That Humira, when you look across there, per script, if you'll see that, it was $6,600 a script is what that thing was costing, okay? This biosimilar we're getting is about $1,200. So those people were able to switch over to that drug, get that off there, and it's about 12. They're not even on the sheet anymore. It wasn't even enough to hit the sheet on those. So your number one drug, though, when you look across this, you are not unique, are the GLP-1 drugs. So think of Ozempic, Mounjaro, all those things. You hear about them as weight loss drugs, but they're really diabetic drugs. You have to be type 2 diabetic to get it through your plan. You can't get it just for weight loss, but you all do have a lot of diabetics on your plan. So that's what's happening. That's where those drugs are. So look, it's in our math. We're still running well, but when you look at Mounjaro, Ozempic, Orencia, Ozempic, Rinvoq, all those things. Well, Rinvoq is actually a replacement for Humira, but anyway, when you look at that, that's where those claims are coming from. So you all are not unique there. When we look at almost all of our groups, and we have just in East Tennessee, almost 800 of them. We have most large ones up and down your corridor here in town. We've got you all, the county, Latin Power, all the big ones. We pretty much are their broker. And it looks like this. It looks like this. And those drugs, what we all hope is, as things change and more of those drugs are out there, that we'll get some price controls on those drugs. Those drugs do a lot of good for a lot of people. It's just hard to look at the prices of them right now, And so we hope that happens. But you all are really in pretty good shape there. Those are the things I wanted to point out to y'all. I thought y'all may have some questions. The thing, we're working on a couple things right now for you into the fall. I've actually I've got some numbers. I really hoped I'd have them by today, but I can't get them. I've got to get them from another spot. I've got a couple ideas on the pharmacy plan that I think I'd like to bring to y'all, that I think we can actually, there's not much juice left to squeeze out of that. We've got it sub $200 now, But I think we got an easy button. We could get about another $150,000 out of it a year. And I think we should probably press it. And so I'm making sure that those numbers are what I think they are, and it affects very few people. And I think you all will be comfortable with it, but I need to bring that to you so y'all can make a decision. And there's a couple other things we're working on there too. I think ultimately, I know you've got some movement with the clinic. I'm sure we'll have some clinic discussions. I know that's been really important to your membership and well received. The thing about that clinic is, you can put, I'm always asked this, what's the ROI? Well, I mean, you put it on one piece of paper, that's not how you build it on one piece of paper, and it's not going to stand out like you're saving. That's not how it works. But what's happening is, obviously, we're avoiding some of these large claims. We're avoiding large claims. If that's because people are more diligent in going and doing some of their stuff there, if they're getting the drugs they need, if they're doing some of those things, it's like chasing a ghost. You can't grab what you never saw. We hope we're just not seeing them, because the plans run like this for 5 years in a row. So we hope we know those. My intuition tells me that's paying dividends. And it's a good thing y'all have done. But anyway, I know I talked a lot and kind of talked fast, but it's a good news story for y'all.
Do we include our clinic cost in this?
Not in that.
We
that
pay that
comparison.
directly to Ballad.
Yeah.
Do we get any information on what medications we're seeing there to see how many of those are maintenance?
I have a whole. So what we did, what we did is, this thing it's still manual and we do it, but it was highly manual until about a year and a half ago. I think you were in one of those meetings maybe when we had it back in the room over there. But what we're doing now and what they are doing now is they are actually kind of zero paying these claims through the clinic.
Good.
So those claims, when somebody goes and sees the clinic now, what we were doing is we were having to depend on Ballad to send these big sheets, and we couldn't you go through them. And it was their math and all those kind of things, right? Now what we're doing is they run those claims through the system, through your electronic medical record system, okay? It goes through the system like a Blue Cross claim. They're on there like a provider, so that the system looks at your clinic as a provider. And so it runs it through the system just like you would have been paying for it at a private physician outside of the clinic, but then it zero pays it. So you're not paying twice. You're not paying for it there, but we can see exactly what those claims would have cost. So we know, just making it up, if we had 300 visits and it cost X, it's not what anybody says it would. We know what it would have cost because we're running it through just like a provider.
Okay, good.
So we have all that data, and we can show you exactly what it would have cost to go there versus outside. There are a lot, that drug list, that formulary in the clinic is pretty broad. And so it's pretty broad. And we do have it. I don't have a copy of their formulary, but I have a copy of what's been dispensed.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
because they control their own formulary over there. Or I guess Ballad does, whoever.
I think they are too.
Yeah.
Anybody else have any questions or? Thanks.
Well, it's a lot more pleasurable to talk to y'all when it's running well. When things are going well. But we'll keep you on top of it. We get these reports to y'all on a regular basis. We'll keep you on top of it. If anything changes, you'll know ahead of time. You know what's going on, and you'll know why. But thank y'all for your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chris. And you can go now if you want to. I usually make fun of people when they leave, but, okay. Well, have fun. All right, item 8.2 is consideration to approve closing a portion of Church Street on Saturday, October 4th, 2025 for Incredible Farm Dinner downtown.
Good afternoon. My name's Sarah Krutzinger, and I'm here to represent Rural Resources this evening. I'm here to give you some information about this event. It is our largest fundraising event of the year. It is a farm-to-table style, so we are promoting, we're promoting all of the farmers the closest that we can be, but within a 100-mile radius. We look for all of the ingredients to this farm-to-table. We are asking to shut down a section of Church Street, or block it off, not shut it down, block it off, and set that farm-to-table up in that in that little section of Church Street, which would be from the corner of Main to the parking lot of St. James Episcopal Church. We are hoping to receive 200 attendees at this event. We'll have 30 to 40,
Can you scoot up just a little bit?
or closer to the microphone.
Please.
Okay.
Thank you.
We're hoping to have 30 or 40 volunteers at this event. The time will be from 6 to 9:30. It's on October 4th, as you had earlier stated. So it's a great event for fundraising for rural resources, but it's also a great event for the town of Greenville. It's fun. We are promoting all of these local farmers. We are also highlighting the kids that run through our program and giving them a chance to see, some of their good work, because a lot of the products are coming from their hard work at the farm. We also use produce that they raise, or they grow. Maybe some of them are raised as well. We'll see. But we also get to feature local chefs. We'll be pairing, I hope, with the Youth Council, with the Greene County Partnership. So there's a lot of collaboration that happens at this event. There's a lot of manpower necessary. And so we are asking for your support and your approval for this October 4th date. This helps to keep our programs low cost or free. And free is the key there for our large teen training program. So we will be focusing a lot on that. And those are the kids that will be part of the event. And I am kind of jumped around on some of the things, but I don't think
How much are the
there's-
tickets?
The tickets are going to be $85.
Okay.
Most farm-to-tables are a little higher in price. We've kept it at $85. And we find that we always sell out. That's a good thing. And maybe in the future, we'll be able to make a little more money, but we like to keep it reasonable for everybody to come.
Are the tickets already available?
Tickets are online, yes.
Okay.
Tickets are online
Make
at
a
the
motion, we
website.
approve.
Got a motion in a second. All those in favor, any further discussion?
We hope to see everyone there. Anybody who would like to volunteer. We're taking volunteers. We've got a nice little Google form that you can sign up on the website. But yeah, it's all in process. We'll have music, 3-course dinner, lots of surprises on chefs. So
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against, like sign.
very good.
Motion carries. Thanks.
Thank you for your time.
Appreciate you coming in. Item 8.4 is consideration to close portions of West Depot and our streets on Saturday, April 15th, 2026 for the GM Truck Show after party.
Did you skip one? 4?
Consideration to accept, I did. No,
3.
yes. Sorry.
Okay.
Consideration to approve closing portion of West Depot Street and our street on Saturday, October 25th, 2025 for the Shop with a Cop car show. Hey. Thank you.
Well, thank you all for seeing me. We've started getting ready for our Jeep show coming up this weekend, and we wanted to go ahead and get on the books for our motorcycle club to do fundraiser for Shop with a Cop. We always donate to the cause from our club. We want to do something a little bit more this year. So we all come up with an idea of doing a Volkswagen show. It's pretty big gathering with Volkswagen fans. So we thought we'd run with this, being this in October. It kind of would tie in with some Oktoberfest events that were going on. And hoping we can get all of our proceeds that we get from this will be going to the Shop with the Cop program.
Okay, it's a very good event, huh? Shop with a Cop. So do I hear a motion to approve? I think you've got all the network or the paper, the work that's needed. We got a motion?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Those against, like sign. Motion,
I'm curious, just off the top of your head, do you know how many kids benefit from that program in our community?
I don't. I do know that from the last 2 years, members of our club volunteered to help. There's just not enough cops to help shop. They're lined up at Walmart up and down the aisleways, and it's a large event, and a lot of kids in this community do benefit from that. In fact, about 10 years ago, my kids were one of the ones that benefited from it as well. So it is one that's kind of dear to me as also. So we look forward to, building on it and making it bigger.
Thank you.
Thank you.
thanks, Jag.
Thanks.
Okay, now item 8.4 is consideration to close portions of West Depot and our streets on Saturday, August 15th, 2026 for the GM Truck Show after party. Hello, Mr. Harrison.
Good afternoon, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing good.
I wish you'd had brought Zeke in here so he could have sat up here with us.
You might have regretted that.
Well, you never know.
He put on a show for sure.
Yes, he would.
Fourth annual GM Truck Fair. Again, the fairgrounds component, 2 days. Friday night, we have a component at the General Morgan Inn. The Saturday night component is where we take all our show winners downtown, close the street off, food trucks, live band, and it allows us to do another auction like we do on Friday night to raise money for the scholarship fund, which is the Harrison's Rod and Custom Scholarship Fund. We're currently undergoing a 501 application. So by the time this rolls around, we'll be a nonprofit, licensed nonprofit. Never been any problem in the past. This will be the 4th year doing it. I know that our people that attend, they like the downtown component, and that's all we've tried to do is having this show. We wanted to help some kids out to get the training they need in the hot rod business, showcase the town, and everybody go away having a good time. So with that being said, we would ask that you would approve this.
How many folks did you have come in this year, you think?
People I don't know as far as just spectators. We've actually, it's kind of flattering, but we've found a kind of a flaw in the way we did our registration. We're finding out that people registered, took their card, paid their money, didn't care if their truck won a trophy or not. They never went to registration. So our numbers are skewed, but we were a little under 200 trucks. It looked like it did last year, and maybe a little bit more for a while before they left. But we've got a plan to correct that this time. Just the raising of the money's the same. That's fine. It's just I'd like to have a more accurate number for me to be able to stand here and say I had this many. So we're going to correct that flaw. But we had a lot of happy people, and a lot of people enjoys the downtown component of the thing. They like the area, like the General Morgan, and we're already in communication with our friends at the Gentry, so I'm going to pack them a street up so they can do some good business that night.
Good. Okay. Well, do I hear a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there? Second?
Yes, sir.
Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against, like sign. Motion carries. Thanks,
Thank you.
Brian.
Thank y'all.
Item 8.5 is consideration to accept RFQ for design services for Crowfoot Alley pedestrian walkway. Hello, Christina.
How are you? I've got this RFQ, and what we did for this is for the Crowfoot Alley walkway design. So we're getting moving on this project. We've got Mattern and Craig and Dave Wright were the two applicants for this request for qualifications. And we had a committee which was composed of Scott Keith, Justin Schooley, and Andy Broyles. And they scored both applicants separately, and then I did the average. And so this is the average. And Kathy, if you can scroll down a little bit, at the bottom it says that Dave Wright was the recommendation on the request for qualifications. And if you need to, we have their packet in here as well, if you need to see that. For that. And it had, basically, you can see the different qualifications that were judged, the qualification and competence of the firm's experience in the type of service being sought, capability of the firm to perform the service, availability of qualified resident representative, and the firm's understanding of local related issues.
Okay. Kevin, are you the
Yeah, they wanted to speak, I think.
Okay. Is the pizza ready?
Not quite. Getting closer, though, getting closer. I know we get a lot of that question over and over. I'm Kevin Thompson, here to represent the Gentry. My wife is here as well, Kim Thompson.
No?
She's being shy back there.
Okay.
So we're not, I guess we don't really, I would, if I had a vote, I would vote for Dave Wright, obviously. We really wanted to talk about just being considered a part of the decisions around the design as that comes about. So when Todd Smith was here before, we had that commitment from Todd, and we're looking for to be involved in the decision-making. And the reason is there's security involved in our lot that adjoins to the 10-foot alley, along with many other considerations from construction and what we have going on there. So not quite directly aligned with but it's related, and we wanted to make sure we came and asked for that.
Have you met Andy Broyles yet? Andy was talking with some of us today, and he wants your help too. So, and he brought up some good points that this is going to be difficult or different because there's a building there, and if we attach the thing to the building and the building goes away, then it falls down. So we're going to have to look at how it's constructed and how much we need to have up. So we're going to need help. And you are a big portion of the downtown, so.
Okay.
And the time frame also of when the construction will actually be done. Do you guys know possibly when that will be?
No,
We
because
only have design in the budget, right, Laura? Did we put design
We
in the
do
budget?
for construction beginning March 2026 is what was on.
We have $300,000 in our capital budget for this.
And that includes the construction and the,
Yeah, well, that's not gonna happen, but you had my guarantee that you'd have input too, and you will.
Okay.
We appreciate that.
Because I know you don't want people climbing over into your property. That's one thing we're gonna have to definitely, I was left out of this right here, but I'll make sure I'm in the know. And I will talk to you because it directly affects your property.
Exactly.
And
That's
of
all we're
course, it's
asking
going to
for.
have to be freestanding.
right.
I mean, even if you've got a common wall there, you can't attach to the
No, and that-
antique mart. No
yeah.
way. But anyway, it's, y'all will be in the know.
Okay, very good.
Thank you so much.
Is there anything else?
No, I think that's all.
Okay. Well, can you make the recommendation again, please?
So the recommendation would be for Dave Wright to win this request for qualifications.
Okay, well, we have a recommendation. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against, like sign. Motion carries. Thank you, and Dave will do a good job. Item 8.6 is consideration to approve a resolution for the town of Greenville to apply, accept, administer, and amend the Tennessee Department of Environment and Conservation Brownfield redevelopment area grant, BRAG. We'll start using BRAG.
So I'm asking for your all's approval today. This is a grant through TDEC. It's in the amount of $100,000, no local match. The timeline to turn in this grant, there's actually 4 different grants through the BRAG grant opportunities. And there's an identification grant, an assessment grant, a planning grant, and a remediation. We're at the point, we have met, Todd and I met with Jan Compton and Steve Sanders with TDEC several weeks ago. And then probably 3 weeks ago, Todd and Officer Burton Ellis and Jan Compton with TDEC, along with the property owner at West Main Recycling and his sister, came and met with all of them, and they discussed this grant opportunity. And the property owner of West Main Recycling was open to allowing the town to apply for this grant to be able to come onto his property and have an assessment done, an evaluation done to see what can be done for cleanup. And I know that that has been a process, and I know he had been working on getting some permits in the past. Bert, if you can speak to that too. But he is open to us and allowing town and consultants on his property to see what can be done to clean up that area. And then after this grant, then there is a next phase if we want to go down that route, which would be the remediation part, which would help clean up that property. But right now, we're just asking for this step, which is applying for the assessment grant, no match. But we are asking Mattern and Craig to do this grant application for us because the grant is due September the 15th. And they have worked on these particular grants before, these brownfield grants. And so they're more in touch with the environmental components. So I'm asking for your approval for us to apply for the grant and to use Mattern and Craig for helping us with the administrative services.
Okay.
Now, I will say, I'll add one part to this. If we were awarded this grant, the town would have to enter into a voluntary oversight and assistant program called the VOP. And that is basically allowing TDEC to ensure TDEC oversight for the work plan. And there is some fees associated with that, but they will come out of that grant too, because there will be a phase 1 that needs to be done with this grant and a phase 2. So within that $100,000, that'll cover the $5,000 for administrative costs for Mattern and Craig, and then working through the process with going through the bid process to get phase 1 and phase 2, and to pay those fees associated with being in the VOAP program. And it is a reimbursement grant.
So there's no cost to this grant to apply for a grant. That's what I understand.
Yeah.
And for phase 1 and phase 2, it's reimbursed through the grant if we
get it.
if we get the grant. I make the motion that we approve.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any further discussion?
I got one question.
Yes.
If we apply for the grant and don't get it,
Get that. Could you try again?
Then, right, we're okay. That's just part of the process, is that they're willing to help
Okay.
us with applying
Okay.
for the grant. Yes.
thank you.
Does TDEC have to, or sorry, does the town have to own the property for TDEC to?
Not for this part. So for the assessment, the property owner can still own the property to go in, and that's why we needed to meet with the property owner to make sure that he would allow us on the property and allow the TDEC consultants, whoever we choose to have do phase 1 and phase 2. And he has verbally given the approval for that. Once the grant is awarded, there is, we will have to get an assessment agreement in writing from him, and we can do that, but there's no point in doing that until we get awarded the contract.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against, like sign. Motion carries. Thanks. That could maybe help with our gateway, huh?
Yes.
Item 8.7 is update from Roby Theater Committee. Approval from the City Council needed to proceed. Note, since the entire Roby facility, including the theater, is a town-owned property, all funds donated and expense would be required to pass through the town. Budget amendments are required. So who's speaking here? How are you, sir?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Doing great.
My name's Carl Close, live at 1403 Upland Avenue, and I'm on the committee for the Roby. My experience with the Roby goes back to 1976 when I first moved to Greenville, courtesy of my wife, and I've been stuck there ever since. And I'll leave it at that. As you all are well aware, the place closed early 2000, 2003, 2002. We're not exactly sure what year, but it's been sitting vacant since then. There's been a committee formed to see whether we can resurrect the Roby Theater, as well as what to do with the whole Roby building. Part of that process, having been through the building a couple times, is, as I'm sure most of you are aware, the ceiling has fallen over the auditorium. There is what appears to be blown-in insulation laying in the seats and on the floor, to effectively evaluate what we can do with the building, I need to get people into the building in a safe manner. First and foremost, I need to make sure we do not have asbestos there. We all hate that word, but it's reality. We have a proposal from, hold on a minute, I can do this. From Crossroads Environmental for $250 to proceed with testing of the material in the auditorium for asbestos. Those funds have been paid to the city or in deposit with the city. We just need approval from the council that will allow us to proceed with a purchase order and get that work done. That's the first step. Assuming that is clear, and that's a big assumption, but for right now, we have to work on that vein. Assuming that's clear, the next step that we would want to do is one of two things. One would be to, A, clean up the debris that's in the auditorium so the place looks presentable. Right now, anybody walks in who's not in construction, it's like beyond hope. So that's part of that, is to get that cleaned up. I have one proposal for $4,000. I'm getting a couple more proposals, and we'll see where that goes from there. The other piece of that is to get basic lighting in the building. I've had an electrician go in with Jerry Wilkerson, our local inspector, to inspect the existing system. According to what I understand from the electrical contractor, the system is safe. It can be done. There are 7 breakers in the main panel that comes in. Jerry Wilkerson's recommending we disconnect 6 of those so that only one panel that runs auditorium lighting and fluorescent lighting over the stage be operational. There's a little catch to that little statement. It seems that Light and Power doesn't know where the power is coming from because of all the renovations that have occurred since early 2000. So we've got to do a little more work with GEA engineers to figure out, where do we do it? How do we do it? Or do we have to put a construction pole up for power? But that's a later step. First step is to do the asbestos testing, and I'm here to formally request approval for that piece of it.
We've had some discussions today about the Robey, and it being a town building, there's a lot of concern or questions that we have about who can be in there, how can you be in there, how is the insurance covered, are there, I think there was something about the
building's condemned, is it not?
Yeah, and all power cut to it.
So
we would have to work with the state fire marshal to undo that, if you will. But
Well,
the
and-
first step on that is like I say, is the asbestos side of it.
Well, we've had some discussions with our insurance folks, and there's many things that we've got to work through. So
What's the end goal?
See if we can put the building back into operation. Now,
So-
that would require full fire protection. We're working with the original installer of the fire protection system at Robey. He's going back through his files to confirm whether or not the system as built is designed to pick up the auditorium or not. I can't answer that question at this point in time.
So to interject just really quickly to answer Councilmember Teague's question, what's the end goal? The end goal for this step is to do what we received initial, I guess, approval to do, which was to create a report that has everything from soup to nuts of, can the building be refurbished? If so, how much would that cost as an estimate? And then also, what would be the vision or plan as a community asset? We can't, in good faith or fidelity, get the ingredients, so to speak, or the components for that report.
is he okay?
We all good in there?
He's fine, thank you.
Chief Spano, did you spec this place out before we started this meeting? Jeesh. But to that point, back to the point, the end goal right now is to just get the information that we need to complete the report that was promised to this council. And if we vote to do something with that, great. If not, it at least gives us a really good pulse point on this project. So that is the end game as far as this committee's work, is to actually do the evaluation to present to city council. It's not to, move forward with a renovation right off the bat. That's not what we're trying to do. And if we go back to the minutes, it was a request to form the committee to do the evaluation, to just see what are the possibilities. But instead of shoulda, coulda, woulda, it would be we would have numbers to back up that response. So that's what Mr. Close is here to speak to, is we have to get the asbestos test completed and the building cleaned up to do the actual evaluation of the building that would go into the report.
Okay, well, I also, if we go forward on this project, I think that we need a 20-year plan on what that place is going to be and what we expect, how it's going to be operated, what it's going to be doing, because we closed it because it wasn't big enough, and there was a group, there were people that went over to the Capitol and did something, and that didn't work, and somebody else bought it, and we're trying to.
And we have a couple on Depot Street trying to renovate one. We've got Niswanger, we've got Annie Hogan and Tusculum. I mean, how many do we need?
That's part of our report, excuse me.
Okay.
To evaluate the whole theater experience, if you will, not just this one.
If I may ask, did city employees go in this building with them?
The former city manager did.
Okay.
I think there's always been a city employee with them. Is that
Yes, and
correct?
so now Nicole, our Roby Center director, has the key and has the ability to let them in and out of that building.
So today you're asking the $250
Which is
asbestos.
the approval for Laura to issue the purchase order. The city has the funds privately for that work.
And these folks have all of the insurance coverages that they would need.
So I'm sure the asbestos test, not major insurance requirements other than what they actually have on hand. When we get even into the cleanup, I have insurance limits and umbrella policies and those kind of things that have to go into that scope of work.
And this is going to go through your office if this is approved?
Yes. So since that is a town facility,
So we're acting as a bank?
yes. So we would take the donations, and then our purchasing policy is followed. So again, I've spoken with Carl, and we've talked about they have the one quote. They have to get 2 more quotes because that falls in our 3-quote area. But at this point, and the reason that I mentioned an amendment, we would have to amend the budget to do this. And so I think to move, for our record keeping, and since the money is flowing through the town, I would request city council approval to move forward, formal approval to move forward with at least the asbestos report and then possible cleanup, following our purchasing policy and all the donations and things like that to the town. And am I correct, Mr. Close, in that there'll be no cost to the town on this or the cleanup? Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
That's our plan. That is exactly correct.
Just work for your office.
Yes.
Well, we have a request. Do I hear a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion?
Just one last piece I would like to, I don't think it matters for this, but I'm the council representative, like with them, with this committee, just for the record. But I'm not going to be, like I said, making the proposals or coming to city council to present the information. I'm simply the convener for it, but I want to say for the record that I am affiliated with that committee in terms of being their convener, just for the record.
Let me understand right now, Laura, what we're voting on is just asbestos.
So we'll start with the asbestos.
That's all we're voting on right now.
Yes.
Okay.
And then, once we get that done, we'll come back. It's not our normal policy to come back in that price range, but since we're taking donations for this, when we come, we'll come back to city council with those 3 quotes. If all the asbestos is, if that test is clear, we will come back with that, as well as the donation, the donation and as well as the cleanup.
As long as the money's there, that can't exceed.
That's correct.
Okay.
One question. I hate to put you on the spot, Chief Shipley. Do you have any concerns about people in that, being in that structure? I know we that's the only time I know of in the town where we have closed off and essentially killed a portion of a building. Nobody is supposed to be in there.
Yes.
Before they do asbestos.
And
Yeah.
Bert, has Bert been through it?
Yeah, Bert actually we met with Mr. Close and Dave Wright. Myself and Bert met with them and kind of went over, just in general, from the insurance perspective and otherwise. Our insurance provider has also requested, since the State Fire Marshal's office is involved, to have a fire watch while they're over there, asbestos testing and cleaning.
Corresponding back and forth with the state fire marshal's office. Nothing at all. So it would just have to be cleanup only. This thing has been shut up
20.
22 years.
That's part of our evaluation. No construction being proposed in this at all. This is just strictly asbestos first and some cleanup. That's it. Once we get into it, then, then it's another ballgame, hopefully.
Get in there and start beating back around. You're not going to.
I don't want it either.
Yeah.
I'm with you, Bert.
Yeah, and Carl and I, we all met and met with Dave. Also, we've got to keep in mind. Talking to the state fire marshal's office, as long as
So Laura, will you read the motion one more time, just so we're all in agreement
So the motion is to proceed with the asbestos testing
for $250?
for $250, yes, with an offsetting donation already made.
We have a motion.
Money.
Yeah, not to exceed 250 that's already donated, yes.
And we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against, like sign. Motion carries. Thank you, Carl. We appreciate you.
And we'll be sure to add the 20-year component that you'd like to see in the 4 report if we get to that point. And I would encourage the other city council members, if you've got something you would like added to that report that you'd like to see, please go through either Laura, I guess Kathy, and if we get to that point, I'd be glad to explore those in the report.
Thank you.
Mayor, was there another public comment? on
I thought there was just the
that.
one.
Was that Carl? Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. So item 8.8 is consideration to approve a change order for the exterior improvement at Town Hall in the amount of $28,700. Budget amendment required for the entire project for fiscal year 2026.
So I think we have our, somebody from Skyline. Yes.
Come up.
So when we were going through the budget process and budget amendment process, the original plan was that this would be, the majority of it would be done by the end of June, and it just doesn't work as construction things often don't work. So there goes the comment for the entire project. Okay, that's the reason that that's in there. I want you to know there's a budget amendment. I did ask them to give us a change order, and what he's going to explain to you, it's my understanding is these components were not in the original scope of the project. But in order to complete the restoration, it would need to be done. I will also say at this point, the entire project can come from our fund balance. We had it in our regular operating budget last year that did not carry over. But I have spoken with our auditors, and they have checked with even a different auditing partner just to get a different set of eyes on it. And since this is restorative in nature, not just painting and fixing, they're actually restoring components of the building. Those are considered capital projects, and it's the dollar amount and the entire process is one contractor. So this would come from our fund balance, and none of it, including the original 98,000 and the 28,700. None of that is in our current budget. Again, it would come out of our fund balance.
So tell us what you want to have us do.
Okay, so the original bid package that went out was for the portico,
Uh-huh.
the ceiling, and that was it for the front. There was also a second amendment line that they wanted to do 50 windowsills, which actually comes out to like, there was actually 53, but there's 53 windowsills that is on that original bid package that was sent out by the city. And then if you see up here at the gable end, you can see the gable vent. The left side's missing a block. Oh, it was there. That was also included in the original bid package. So that gable vent that you see right there, and then the windowsills and the panels below the windowsills on the first floor. So everything else, so the gable trim going up, all the crown molding, the soffit, fascia, all that, none of that is included in that bid package. The bid package was set up, I'm not sure who, through the city of Greenville, how that was presented, if it was, if you guys have like a committee or something, or if it was one person. That package was sent out as a whole, we bid it as a whole, and we didn't do any additional line items. But the first day on site, when I got there, I did walk through with the city manager, and was just pointing out like, hey, just so we're on the same page, this is included in this bid package and this is not. And I wanted to make sure, because for me, I'm looking at if we can, is there, what photo, well. Yeah. Yeah. So my concern initially when I got on the job site was this. So if we're gonna restore the front of that portico and we're gonna return back, so all that from the columns up to the, that's all gonna be restored, and then everything else was not included.
This is not included.
Yes, so none of that was included. Left, right, the gable ends, and then anything on the back side of the building was not included.
And it's not, doesn't need to be restored in terms of like.
So I
wood.
inspected it, yes. The wood, other than two small spots on, Church Street side. There's 2 small sections that are gonna need to be repaired. Everything else is sound. All the molding, all the wood. Yeah, so if you see on the corners of the building where it returns down off of that crown right there, those 2 are rotted out. The other side is in good shape. Those are the only 2 that need to be replaced, and that is all the wood repair. Everything else is basically clean, scrape, and then paint. The other thing that wasn't included, good picture right there, the downspout, exactly. And that's how this all came about. I think it was Christina asked me one day, like, hey, are you guys painting that? And I was like, it's not in the bid package. And she's like, oh, that's weird. And I said, yeah, I mean, if we paint that one, then it's not gonna look, so I mean, I put in there that if we're gonna paint this one, we should do all the downspouts as well. So everything kind of blends in together, and then the whole outside of Town Hall, all 4 walls, pretty much all the wood, anything that needed painted minus the handrails to the steps, everything else on that building would be at 100% done because the roof looks like it's been good, the gutters are good. So those are the only things that I've seen that were not in the original bid that probably should be. And another reason I say that is, so we're driving lifts on that grass. We're causing some tracking issues through there, and we're gonna have to repair those when we're done. Yeah, I'm 5 foot away from that gable trim by the time I do that vent. So if I spend 2 days filling in tracks and seeding and strawing and all that, then someone comes back 5 months later to do that. I mean, it just seems redundant and very unnecessary. Because, I mean, literally, our lift is right there.
How much longer do you have to complete it? Or,
Without the original scope,
mhm.
I would say we're 98% done with all the windows. We're probably 65% done with the portico. And then the one major thing that's really gonna be the time for us is we're unsure is the right column. Because I need to literally remove part of that. And
The right column?
yeah, the bottom of it is completely rotted out like a foot up. I don't know if there's a good photo here, but yeah, that one, a foot up is, you can just walk up and put your finger through it. So that's gonna be the most time consuming, but I think we're probably four weeks from the project.
Yeah, that's a problem.
It is, yeah.
So this was built 60 years ago? 58? So if we get this,
Yes. Yeah, so on each side of where it says Greenville Town Hall, there's little medallions up there that are painted in right now. Typically, we're gonna paint those black so they kind of stick out, because that's what they were originally would have been painted was.
It's gonna be off-white, all of it.
It is an off-white, yes. It's a custom match off of the original color off the door.
But it was green.
Well, the original, what it is now, yes, it was green. There is green back there. We've seen it.
The library too.
It's a very light green.
Institutional green.
Yeah, we'll say that.
so what's your pleasure?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Is there any further discussion?
Laura, that's okay to pull this out. We're still under a threshold where we want to be with our
Oh, yes,
balance.
yes,
That's okay.
yes.
Thanks, Tim. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against, like sign. Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your time.
Item 8.9 is consideration of bid award recommendation for resurfacing various streets in Greenville PIN 131140.00. How long have we been waiting for this?
Before I got here. I think this started with Brad. So this is the project that's going to run, it's being run through the local programs office at TDOT. It uses surface transportation block grant funding. It'll repave several different segments in Greenville, Church Street, Old Shiloh, and Irwin Highway. So TDOT did all the, or CDM Smith did the construction plans. TDOT has approved everything, went out for bid. We received one response, that being from Summers Taylor. Their bid response, as you can see, was $1,198,312. The surface transportation block grant funding as of August 6th for Greenville has $1,198,758.34, so we'll be actually on the plus side about $400. Summers Taylor, given the performance on Van Road and their credibility, I have no issue with them doing the work and would recommend the approval of that award.
So moved.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against, like sign. Motion carries. Thank you, Scott. Item 8.10 is update from Public Works following attendance at American Public Works Association National Conference.
Yeah, I just recently attended the PWX, which is the Public Works Expo. It's a national level event put on by APWA, the American Public Works Association. And it was requested that I just bring a small update. I'll make this quick. Some of the sessions, mainly what I was after was just understanding how other agencies on a national level, how other agencies did things, especially where we need improvement. So one of my big ones was stormwater, obviously. So some of the sessions I attended, the first one jumped right out at me, was first thing. My phone rings off the hook every time it rains. And it does to some degree, but mainly what that covered was a stormwater management strategy. How do you actually get one going? How do you put one together? And we have a stormwater program here, but there's things that, parts of it that we need to work on. And I think continuing to scope and develop the master plan, capturing the necessary data, that's a big point that kept coming around in all these different sessions, was data in the GIS, in the work management system, in an asset management system, just in places that we don't currently have it. And that'll serve us well with our MS4 requirements and also learning more about green infrastructure. The stormwater asset management driven CIP planning, again, just goes back to having that data, having that raw information on what we have, just the infrastructure itself, what shape it's in maintenance-wise, being able to take that information, look at where our deficiencies are, and be able to plan going forward for capital improvements. The innovative speed cushions, that was actually put on by a city out in California. What they did, instead of having the speed bumps going all the way across the road, they had a break in the middle that was just wide enough for a fire truck to go over top of without having to slow down. They didn't hit the speed bump. And they had striping and so forth in place. It actually won some awards. It won approval from FHWA. They were able to implement it, and those fire trucks can roll right down that road and go across that speed bump area and not slow down at all. So that was interesting, something we could potentially look at. Innovations in pothole patching didn't really tell me anything I didn't already know. There's different materials, there's different ways of doing it. But the way we're doing it right now with hot mix asphalt and the patch truck is definitely the standard. So no worries there. But there are other ways we can look at. Again, asset management was a big topic. Preventative maintenance for our solid waste fleets. wanted to see kind of how other places were doing it, much differently than we do. Again, data, telematics off the trucks, having a good PM schedule, really important. So we've got some work to do there. New Jersey case study and a stormwater utility creation. So, and I think Tennessee already has the law in place to allow agencies to create stormwater utilities. New Jersey didn't, but after Hurricane Sandy, they actually implemented one. And the thought was, well, now everybody can just create a utility, get funding, and everything else. Well, come to find out, it wasn't that easy at the local level. Out of 585 eligible municipalities or agencies that could establish utilities, only one of them was successful in doing it. And there's a multitude of reasons, just from the politics at the local level, all the different roadblocks that came up. It just wasn't as easy as they thought. So that was really interesting. Finally, what city and county managers want public work directors to know. And again, that was just mainly how to have a good relationship, good communication, good project management, just an overall good working relationship between the directors and the administration. So it was a very interesting conference. I'm glad I got to go, and I definitely appreciate that opportunity and feel like that hopefully we can bring some things back on the next slide. Takeaways, the asset inventory was the big thing for me. Nothing that we didn't already know. We just need to work on ours and get it cleaned up. Stormwater management, stormwater utility, how do we finance these large capital projects going forward with some of these things that we know are going to fail? Preventative maintenance, maybe consider the speed bump design. And then finally, maybe look at APWA accreditation for the Public Works Department. That's a really big deal, would bring credibility. But that's a process that can take years to complete. So it's just a thought right now. But anyway, it was a good conference. Glad I got to go and appreciate that opportunity. Are there any questions?
Thank you. Good stuff. Any further comments or anyone?
Thank you for going and bringing back what you learned.
See if we can get any of it done.
There you go.
All right, item 811 is consideration to appoint an interim city manager. Ron, could you come up just a second, please? Can you tell us a little bit about what our city charter says about filling an interim manager role?
Well, the situation we're in is we don't have a city manager, and the charter addresses a 30-day absence. Although 30 days hadn't gone by yet, we are obviously going to have a 30-day absence. And so the city council has the authority to appoint a department head or a town employee to serve until we have a permanent.
Okay. Kathy was traveling last week, and it's been kind of hectic the last couple of weeks, and I had a chance to talk with some people today. The big things that we can't do right now with the way that we're operating is if we wanted to hire someone, we couldn't do that. And if there was a decision that someone needed to leave, we couldn't deal with that. So the charter or the talks about I can write or sign contracts, and it says in the charter, I think, or the codes that the mayor is the CEO, which really looks more like it was written for the strong mayor situation. So I think that needs to be looked at also. So if somebody has an opinion on who we select, certainly we'll take that. If you want to wait about 2 weeks so we can talk with some people and find out, there were some questions about if Kathy is the person that's chosen and 2 weeks later, she says, I want out, can she go back to her job? I think she could, but it should be developed, or written up. So, what's your pleasure?
Is Kathy not the assistant city manager in title, or is that addressed?
We have no succession plan in our charter, 0. So, except town employees, like he just said. I'd like to make a motion, if Kathy will accept, and I don't even know if we have I guess, a job description as far as coming from a assistant city manager to a city manager or interim city manager, that Kathy could take a look at to see if she wants it. But I don't think we can go another 2 weeks without somebody being in charge.
Okay.
So we don't need to wait. That's my opinion, and only my opinion. But I'd like to make the motion, if we can come to an agreement with Kathy. I think that was the whole plan at one time, is to have assistant in case something happened to our city manager, which it sure did. So I'll leave it at that.
I've talked to Betsy Cunningham with MTS, and she's looking at some things. Laura and Kathy both suggested that we talk to her if they'd seen anything like this. And then Ron can probably help us with some stuff also. So you have a motion to select Kathy Osborne as the interim city manager if we can work out an agreement with her. And I would ask if Ron and I can work on that agreement. Are you okay with that?
A second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, is there any further discussion?
Well, we didn't ask Kathy.
It's the draft.
So, yes, with a lot of thought and prayer and consideration, because I will say this it's been a rough couple weeks for our staff, especially, I can't speak for all departments, but inside Town Hall, we've all experienced a loss in a sense, and so we are all trying to find our grounding. But yes, I am willing to serve in this role, and I will probably need a lot of grace because Todd did do a lot for our town for the past 13 years, and I think most of us can tell you we're very thankful for his leadership and his mentorship to all of us. But I will fulfill this job with a verbal commitment right now until Ron works up a written agreement as an interim role. And I would like to be able to go back to my position as assistant city manager when you are able to find the right person for the city manager role. I guess I've looked at the charter multiple times, and that is the best job description that we have so far to look at the duties and responsibilities. And so I've carefully read over that, and I am willing to do that. I will say that in the midst of the vote last city council meeting with a 3-2 vote, I know that change is wanted, but I also know that for our citizens and for our staff, I do think that we need some stability and some continuity right now during this transition period. And I think that I want our citizens to know that services are going to still be in place just as they have been, and that thankfully I have a great staff and a great leadership team that have reached out to me and said that they will help in any way possible. And so I think that that means a tremendous amount.
As will I, if you seek my counsel.
Very well said, Kathy. And
Good
one
job.
thing we need to probably look at is the session plan also, Ron, maybe taking that back for a charter change. I mean, as far as city manager, assistant, recorder's office.
And I know that was brought up today when Cal and Laura and I met, that probably some verbiage needs to be added that when typically the city manager was out for less than 30 days, he did always designate me to be in charge for those short period of times when he was out for a week, or sometimes he was out longer, but it was never less than 30 days. And then prior to me, as the assistant, he reached out to, I think the department heads can speak to this, that he rotated between police chief, fire chief, and recorder, finance director. So that was how it was done in the past, which is fine. And like last week, I had a pre-planned trip, and so when all of this happened, then I turned around and left a couple days, 2 days later, and so then that kind of made everybody feel kind of in limbo. But Laura has always been the one that has been the go-to person if for some reason the city manager's been absent, and then unlikely that all of us are out at the same time, but that did occur last week, and that's not the normal, but probably need to look at that as well.
I think it needs to be in our charter, but we'll handle that later.
Yes. Okay, so we have a motion and a second. She's agreed to do it. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against, like sign. Motion carries.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
And Mayor Doty, just this is just an additional question. Along the same thread of this, do you have any anticipated timeline for how long a search will run from start to finish?
In talking with
and what that might look like?
Well, in two ways. One, Pete Auger have talked to him, and he said that it's usually 3 to 6 months on this kind of a search. Finding somebody, this is a holiday time coming up soon, so that could set things back a little bit. We don't really have a job description right now. We have what's in our charter.
The duties and responsibilities are
But
listed
so
in the
that
charter.
might be what we use.
Might be hard to find somebody after what happened to the last city manager to put an application in this town right now.
It might
We may
be.
have to let things heal before
Yes.
that happens.
So it could take a while.
Don't wait too long.
But I would say 3 to 6 months.
That's my big thing is I do like the job that I'm currently in, and I would definitely want that to be one of the parts that are listed in the written agreement, that I would get to be able to go back to my position as assistant city manager.
We'll get that in
Positions
there.
filled.
Okay, any other questions, comments? Okay, and then item 8.12 is information on severance package. And this was in the contract that Mr. Smith had, but I just thought that it needed to go out and everybody needs to see this.
Yes, so this is for information purposes, no formal vote needed, unless you choose to do so.
We
So, I'm sorry?
Can't.
Oh, yeah.
It was added item. You can't take a vote.
So, yeah, and that's why I had it worded as a discussion.
Thank you.
Yes. Mr. Smith's contract read 6-month severance. His salary, his annual salary was $164,918. And so half of that, $82,459, is his 6-month severance that would be paid. And then I go back and look at the leave. So we pay leave that's available upon someone departing. Sick leave is excluded from this. We do not pay out sick leave. Sick leave is applied in TCRS as service credits. So that one would not be paid out. But the estimate that I have right now, this has to be verified by HR, but the estimate that I have is approximately 262 hours for an additional $20,773.27. That brings the total payout for Mr. Smith upon departure is $103,232. And so we would do that on an off payroll week. The plan is to do that this week. And it is a one lump sum direct deposit that's issued to him. So that is the gross amount. That is not the net. So what's applied to this is the regular payroll taxes, Social Security, Medicare, and federal income tax. Any questions?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, and that's all we have for this section. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against, like sign. Motion carries. So I'm going to call the beer board to order. Was there any public comment? Okay. Old business is consideration to approve the minutes from the special call meeting held on August 19th, 2025. We got that last week. Do I hear a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion and second.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Apologies.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against, like sign. Motion carries. The new business, item 4.1 is consideration of an application for a beer permit for an on-premise consumption at the Incredible Farm Dinner downtown on October 4th, 2025 on Church Street. Chief Spano.
How are y'all this afternoon?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing really well. I didn't want to interrupt earlier, but the question you asked about Shop with a Cop, 273 kids last year, and each of them got $200
Wow.
to spend.
Wow.
So
That's
That's
we were
awesome.
pretty proud of that. And Jean Kilgore does an excellent job with that program, and she does. If she ever decides to retire, we're going to be in trouble.
That was.
That's awesome.
Was that Sergeant, was it Sergeant Kilgore? What was he?
Well,
When he-
Stewart was a detective with us
Detec-
for
he
a
was
long time,
detective.
but
He's basically one of the starters of it too, wasn't he?
Yes.
Here. So
they
that's-
did an excellent job. They
Yeah.
continue to every
And she
year for
took
us.
it over. That's great.
Now, back to the agenda. Looking at Ms. Krutzinger, we couldn't find anything that would conflict with any of the ordinances, and we would ask you respectfully approve her.
Is that a load off your mind, Sarah?
We didn't look deep enough.
So we have a recommendation. All those, or do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against, like sign. Motion carries. Thank you.
Motion
right.
to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.